Show. I'm your host, Dave Duenas. What's going on, brothers? Okay, let's go real quick through everything that happened on Saturday night on the 22nd in Houston at Toyota Center. Let's first go with the results, okay? Let's go with the undercard fights and stuff. You had Danny Jacobs versus Issa Smith. What do we see out of that fight? For one thing, I was talking to Carlitos on the Roper Dope Report one night about that fight, and I said, this is a big step up for Danny Jacobs. A lot of the times you see these prospects and stuff, which for years what they've done, they put in, guys that are not going to be too tough, guys that are going to really pad up your records so that when you're ready and you get that self-confidence to get in the ring and you can step it up a little bit, you can really step it up. And going against Issa Smith, who's a veteran fighter, but really is not a natural 160, natural 154. He's a much smaller guy, but he moved up and weighed fairly well, and he's a tough veteran. Slick fighter, a guy knows how to counter, a guy that knows how to use some tricks in the bag that needs to be used in the ring. And that's exactly what he did against Danny Jacob. Danny Jacob went in there and he did his thing. He opposed his will and he opposed his size against Issa Smith, but really getting rocked by a guy that he shouldn't be rocked by, that guy leaves you some questions there, okay? Some things that I was not really, I guess you could say I wasn't a fan about was Danny Jacob, pity pats a lot, man. And it could be some reasons behind it. Seeing that, what I've noticed in the fight, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but he didn't seem to me, didn't like to get hit. He didn't know how to react when a guy returned a shot and land some big shots, okay? So what he would do is pity pat, and really what that is, what pity patting is for is not to commit on any hard shots, all right? So that you have enough time to pity pat, pull back out, or roll out to get out away from danger. And that's what I saw from Danny Jacobs through the whole fight and stuff. Issa Smith did a valiant, try. He was in there. He worked hard. He tried to get into the kid's head, getting hit after the bout, and then throwing shots back at him and then giving him the stare down, but did not do enough to take the fight. And really, the fight was there for Issa Smith to take away from Danny, okay? Jacobs got some stepping up to do, because if he doesn't, I'm going to tell you this, he's not going to be around for very long. Somebody's not gonna really respect that pity pat. Nice boxing, pity pat there, but you got to give something to give the opponent something to think about. And really, honestly, with the pressure that Issa Smith was doing to Danny Jacobs, he should have done something to give him a reminder that, you're in there with a young, strong, hard-hitting, big 175 guy that's actually slimming himself down fighter, okay? So didn't do any of that, and that's why Issa Smith had a lot better night, in the ring with them, and made it a tough night in there for him, all because Danny Jacobs didn't give him anything to really settle back and think about, return shots. So either way, Danny Jacobs took it, but needs to step up his game, in my opinion. Now you move on to Robert the Ghost Guerrero, who got in there with Klassen out of South Africa, the champion for the IBF, gets in there and really, pretty much takes him apart with the jab. Use this footwork a lot. That's something that we haven't seen from Guerrero from a long time. From the amateurs and then debuting in his first pro bouts. Something that Guerrero was really in fine tune with was boxing. Then he kind of saw that, I'm not taking any notice. Nobody's noticing me because I come from a very small town in California, Gilroy, and nobody's taking notice of me. So I need to sit down more on my punches to start landing and knocking out guys with his southpaw stance. Now, going in here with Klassen, he did something that he hasn't done, like I said, box. He used his footwork. He was out of danger, he was able to jab, pull out, go away. But there was some moments, man, where you had to kind of question and stuff, where he was leaning against the ropes. He looked really tired and fatigued for me. I don't know why, I know some of the commentators saying that he was in great condition going in with Shane Mosley, but I saw some moments where he was gasping for air, some moments where he was really, really unsure, because, when he did land some hard shots, when he tried to land some hard shots, they either weren't landing or they weren't doing anything to the South African, okay? So there's going to be some questions there still left for him. Was it a great night for him? Did he win one of the strapping bouts? Of course he did, and that's all good for him. Now we got to see where he goes into there, move on from there, because moving up is you're going to be facing some harder, tougher champions and harder opponents out there at the 135 and 140. So let's get down to the main event. Gail Van Hoy, bro, you need some glasses. Either you need some glasses, or somebody needs to take away the pen and paper away from this man, or somebody's got to fire this guy, because you know what? 118, 110. I don't know what fight he was watching. I really don't. My boy Art from Stand and Fight and a couple other guys that I know called me up. We were talking over. Even Rob Briller, my boy from Puerto Rico, called me up, and I had it 115, 113 for Paulie Malignaggi, but there's an argument there where I could see people swaying to Juan the Baby Bull Diaz. Did he land the harder, cleaner punches? Yes. The thing about Paulie is that he used a lot of ring generalship, and I think he really surprised a lot of us, to tell you the truth, because a lot of us wrote him off. I know I did. I really didn't see the fire in him when he got in with Ricky Hatton. I kind of saw that he just lay down, and that was it. Let the politics take advantage of him, and he was done with boxing. He had no more legs, in my opinion. But he goes in there, and we saw a glimpse of the old Magic Man getting in there, using his jab, bam, bam. He was circling him, he's getting him out of the way of danger. He was having fun. Really, honestly, I saw the Magic Man having the Brooklyn way of having fun, okay, which is sticking out his tongue, shaking them shoulders, doing those things that I really truly like about boxers when they're a little flashy. They do. Now, he had some little, wardrobe malfunctioning in there. I mean, this is nothing new for Paulie Malignaggi. Remember the hair situation, had to cut the dreads. Now he's got these shorts and all that, a little too razzle-dazzle for me and stuff in my tape. But, he was able to still outmaneuver and really try to keep, he was keeping Juan the Baby Bull Diaz frustrated, okay? You could see there was, some tension in his face, he was trying to land them shots. He was trying to get them volume shots that he's normally able to do when he's got a man in front of him, but he wasn't able to do that with Paulie. Paulie was able to jab, get out of there, kind of mix it up. That's one thing, though. Let me tell you this. A lot of people can be deceived a little bit by Paulie Malignaggi's output in this fight because they were saying, well, Juan landed the bigger, harder shots. Paulie did too. The only problem with Paulie, though, is that when he lands his big shots, you don't see the big sweat fly off his Juan the Bull Diaz's head. You don't see Juan the Bull Diaz's face turn or none of that, okay? When Juan lands a big shot, you have to say he's a bigger puncher than Paulie. You saw the effects. You saw Paulie's face turn all the way around. You saw the sweat fly. You even heard the crowd go ooh and ah, but it wasn't Houston. So the hometown crowd was rooting for the man. So whatever, Juan the Baby Bull did, they rolled for. You know what I mean? So, but Paulie did do a lot. He was landing his right uppercut, he was jabbing and then hooking off the jab. He was using his footwork to really confuse him, never really allowing Juan the Baby Bull to set so he can land a 4-punch, 6-punch combination on Paulie. So that's what I liked about it. I like the fact that he did have ring generalship. He did, in my opinion, control the fight. He was able to control it with his jab. He was able to really control it with his footwork, get on that bicycle, backpedal. And another thing is this, okay? If Paulie did sit on his punches, we would have been able to see the more effect of those punches being landed and really see the more effect on Juan the Bull Diaz, which could have made him not keep moving forward so many times. But the problem with Paulie is he's a backpedaling boxer, okay? He likes to backpedal. And when you backpedal, you're always on your toes, so your shots really just become more arm shots than anything else. Just like, it's kind of like the way Danny Jacob is. The only thing with Danny Jacob is he is set, and those are just arm punches. Where in Paulie Malignaggi's excuse, he's backpedaling, so he's throwing a lot of arm punches and stuff, which doesn't really do a whole lot of effect to a fighter. It doesn't humble him up. It doesn't make him think twice about stepping in, but what it does, it racks up the points, and it keeps the guy at bay where you're always out of danger and you're not going to get clipped. But Bull did do some good stuff in there. He was able to step in and lead with an overhand right, catch Paulie Malignaggi, and even in my opinion, hurt him a few times in the bout. But it goes back to Paulie Malignaggi. What did you like better? The hard, clean shots that were landed occasionally, or the guy that was landing the jabs, the guy that was landing the uppercut, the guy that was landing the left hook, the guy that really honestly looked like the fresher dude, always walking away, and the guy that looked like he was really controlling the fight. I like Paulie Malignaggi. I think he had the magic in Houston. I think Van Hoyt, you need some glasses. I think that, as a fight community, we need to have a little bit, let me tell you this. A lot of the times, we've had this already happen. Joshua Cloudy against Miguel Cotto. We've had other fights, for instance, Berto versus Collazo. We've had these fights. They're very close. It's a good argument. Barbershop, in the pub, in the bar, wherever you want to be at, a barbecue. It's a good argument you can have with another hardcore fight fan where what is in your likings of who you thought won the fight. But the bottom line is this, okay, is that regardless of wherever it's weighed, the 118, 110 is outrageous. Okay, it's not really about who won the fight. I'm perfectly fine about who won the fight, but what I'm really kind of just, pretty pissed off about is about 118, 110. We've had this happen to these fighters time and time and time again. And then when you get one of your own fighters, a fighter that represents the sport, starts saying all these things bad about boxing, you know what? It's really hard to defend against other people that are not boxing fans, because they could just plainly throw it in your face like a Dana White and say, well, look, he even got one of you guys in your stable, in the fight community saying that boxing is bullshit. So, we need to step it up. We need to go and write down to the commission. We need to just voice our opinions, write to Golden Boy, write to whoever you think you need to write. Help out with the cause. This is a movement that I've always said that we can do. We should have no excuse. As a fight fan, if you're writing, you're commenting about it now, then you know what? Then you have enough time to write to the Commission of Houston to write about what you think and how you think about. It's not about who won the fight, but it's about the judges and how they judge these fights.